Hey everybody, my name is Matt Doyle, I'm the founder of LaunchCloud, and LaunchCloud is changing the way that businesses are collecting and analysing data. But tonight I'm not going to talk to you about that, I'm going to talk to you about us as a startup and our journey. So I was asked to do this talk about a week or two ago now, and I was like, well, we've been going quite a while and it's been quite a journey, so I didn't know quite what to focus on. So I sent out a survey. Did anyone do the LaunchCloud survey that I sent out last week? Anyone? There's a few of you in the room. For the rest of you, tough. No. It's going to be super relevant for you because we're asking about what startups want to know about the journey, and most of you are sadists. You want to know how bad it got. So it's all in here. So let's just get a little bit of feedback about that anyway. So who in the room right now is a startup? Good. Who has had a failed startup? Come on, there we go, we got two, yeah. Who's looking to raise money? Who has raised money? Who wears women's underwear? Oh, yeah. So it's really important to get the feedback of the room. And so we've always been getting feedback at LaunchCloud to make sure we're building the right thing. And that's one of the things I'm going to sort of focus on. But when I was, when I was like 14 years old, I used to run live music events and I used to run a t-shirt company for my skateboard label. And I didn't really give too much for crap about feedback. I just kind of did what I liked and what was fun, really. But as I've sort of developed my business, I've really worked out what's been important, and that's getting that feedback. So for years after doing just kind of t-shirts and doing gigs and whatever was fun, I started trying to make money. And I did that by doing UX design. I was a UX designer and I designed other people's products, and I kind of got bored with that after a while, and I decided I wanted to do a bigger idea. And I started thinking of this idea called LaunchCloud, and I knew that it was kind of one of the most ambitious ideas I'd ever come up with, and I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own. But I wasn't really sure how I'd get the money, the finance, and the missing skills. So this is me and Becky in the camper van when we were traveling around Australia. And it was pretty, we were in this little camper van the whole time. But on Christmas, we had the opportunity to have a bed. It was amazing. We were in Cairns, and we had a bed, and we had a TV, and we just wanted to spend the whole time there because we'd been in this dirty camper van with beetles buzzing on your face for like a month. And when I was there, I put on the TV, and I put on Bloomberg, and I put on a TV show called Techstars. Who's heard of Techstars? Okay, has anyone seen the TV program Techstars? I don't know if it's still being played. So Techstars is a business accelerator, and there's a class now in London, just down the road actually. But they actually made a TV show about Techstars in the early days, and this was on. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what we need. They helped, what an accelerator is, it would help a startup with maybe just a seed of an idea or a team, and it would help them with some seed funding and the mentorship and help they needed to get through to launch. So as soon as I got home, these are actual pictures from my Instagram and stuff of all the days we were actually working on this stuff. I got home and I started sketching out some stuff. So I'm a designer, that was my first thing to do, like work out what this idea was going to do. And I started looking into what an accelerator needed from me to apply. Now obviously I wanted to join Techstars, because that's the big one. But there wasn't any classes open at the time. So I thought I'll start looking around, find out what it is they need from me. So I found out they needed an investor deck, or a deck. Does anyone know what a deck is? Yes? Yeah, good. Okay, so I didn't at the time. I'd just been making stuff, I'd been making designs for other people. Didn't really know. I knew what a presentation was, but I didn't really know the fundamental differences. I learned that they probably wanted a video of me, they wanted to understand what our business did. So I started creating all this material. And I thought I'd start applying for one. So this one came up in Oklahoma, of all places. That was actually using a Techstars model, very much like Barclays does in the UK. They use a Techstars model. And I thought, what the hell? I'll apply and see what happens. And lo and behold, they gave us a call back and said, could you do a pitch of your product to us? I was like, all right. So me and Becky went, well, where should we do it? In our living room. So we just did it in our living room with like a TV, like a presentation area. And we pitched to these guys over in America about LaunchCloud. And I didn't really know how to explain it that well at that time, because I just had some drawings of it and I just had to sort of blag it a bit. But I had a vision of where I wanted it to go. And it was a funny experience because I like doing this sort of stuff when I can see the whites of your eyes and kind of get your feedback. But when you're doing it over a video cam, I really couldn't get the feedback of if they liked our idea, if they were digging what I was talking about. And it was actually, we built up all this adrenaline excitement, and they're like, okay, thanks, we'll get back to you. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. And then we just got the worst headaches, didn't we? We got the worst headaches because all that adrenaline just went from us. And we just went, oh, should we So we walk around our field, and this is our field, and we just walked around the field going, what just happened there? I don't know. That is no, it's not. Let me be clear. I don't have an estate. I have a field outside my house, which we walk around with the dog. But that is the field. So we would walk around the field and just go, well, how did that go? Oh, I don't know. I think it went pretty well. I don't know. So. And then a week later, I'm paraphrasing this a bit because I've got 20 minutes. So a week later, we got a call back from Guy Madison, who was the accelerator manager or whatever, and he said, "Matt, we're going to offer you a place in this accelerator called BP4B. If you'd like to come over to America, we need you over in a couple of weeks. We'd love to have you. We'd like to offer you $25,000 seed funding, and we'll take 6% equity." I was like, "Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, sounds great." So obviously we had to start sorting out the flights and getting over there. And I think one of my sort of key things that I took away from that was that to enjoy that moment, because that's obviously flipping awesome. Like, I just come out with this idea, go into this accelerator, and you kind of be very English about it, and you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't get too excited about this. It's probably going to mess up, or I don't want to seem big-headed. And then you sort of, then the moment goes, that becomes your now, and then you've kind of missed out on that excitement that you had. So from then on, we started kind of popping champagne corks and writing on champagne corks to really remember those times, because I'm going to talk a bit about the dark times, and you need to remember those good times and the dark times. So we went over to America, we went over to Oklahoma, and we had this amazing space, and we put on so much weight because they were giving us free pizza and free Coke and stuff. But what was the coolest thing about being in the accelerator is I got to work on my idea every single day. Like, previously when I was working on Launch Cloud, I'd have to fit it around my client work, but I had this money to live off of, which was going to burn away because we were paying rent in the UK and we were paying rent in America and we had a car. So I wanted to use it as much for the business as I could. And this is our whiteboard in the accelerator of us starting to get the idea. And for me, this was super cool to be able to have a whiteboard and work on this stuff full time. Other things that you expect if you're going to join an accelerator, they have very similar models or curriculums. One of the things is business plan writing. So they taught us a few ways you can write business plans. And we sort of drilled that out. We started doing our financials, because what they're doing is they're gearing you up to be investable and get some money. And one of the ways they do that is every single week you do a pitch. This is me pitching there, and these people critique you and rip you to pieces. And the different people come in and say, oh, well, Matt, we didn't really understand what you're talking about there. We didn't understand your accent, or whatever it was, And I had to adjust that accordingly, use some of their words so they'd understand what I was saying. And what that gave you is a real sort of thick skin for that feedback, and learning that feedback is there to help you. And it also gets you quite good at explaining your idea really quickly. And we just completely redid it almost every week and just reinvented it every single week until we had a pitch really refined. And so at the end of the 3 months, we had to pitch to a room full of people. And that's online, actually, so you can see that embarrassing moment. But no, it went really well, and I pulled it off. But I think the pressure where that came from is because we practiced it so much, I just didn't want to mess it up. Because, if you're just doing it off the cuff, if you blubber and mess up, who cares? But I'd been practicing it for 3 months every week. I didn't want to put a word wrong. But there was lots and lots of really awesome other things in the accelerator. So one of the things we had to learn quite quickly was what people to listen to and what information to take on. You had to learn how to filter information really quite quickly, because everybody wants to give you their opinion and tell you what's wrong about what you're doing or right about what you're doing, and you had to learn to sort of go, oh, that's bull, I won't listen to that guy, or I won't listen to her, and form your own opinion, because for the first few weeks it was just information overload, and you've just got to learn to sort of start processing that. So one of the investors of the accelerator, a guy called Jerry, he funded the accelerator, and one day he went, hey Matt, what are you up to? He rang me. I was like, oh, I'm just chilling out of the hotel. He's like, hey, come down to the office. I'm going to stop the American accent now. And he said, come down to the office. And he had this purpose-built office, and he opened up this garage, and there was 3 Lamborghinis, an Aston Martin, a Ferrari. He goes, Matt, one day, no, I'm going to not do it. Matt, one day, you could have this. If you sort of play your cards right and you build it like I have, built your business, you could have these cars. And I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. He goes, so which one do you want to go out and spin for first? I was like, obviously the Lambo. And he's like, okay. And so I thought, oh, get in. No. And he gave me the keys. And he goes, you're driving, I'm taking this one. And we just buzzed around Oklahoma in Lamborghinis all day. It was flipping awesome. And so I did that a few times with him, and was like, oh, Jimmy, should we go in the Lamborghinis again? And we go and get a burger and drive the Lamborghinis about. So there was some serious highs in that as well. But I don't want to take away from the pressure that was starting to build. So the pressure is 3 months is almost up. You're not going to raise any more money. What are you going to do? Go back home, start designing for websites for people again? Yeah, that's the way it's going to go. So we started working out what we were going to do. And there was a few deals on the table from all the networking that we've been doing about more funding, but it wasn't a huge amount of money. And we were offered, after doing the pitch, I got offered another 25,000, which we didn't take. And then we were offered another, just before the pitch day, we took another 25,000 seed investment from a guy called Bernie Perrine, who was ex-worldwide manager for Microsoft, and he was one of the founding members of Kenko's, which was like a little print shop in America, and it sold to FedEx. It became FedEx Kenko's in America. So he'd done quite nicely, had a bit of money to put into things. So I got involved with Bernie and another guy called Adam, who both invested in LaunchCloud with that money. And we wanted to try and take smart money. That was what we were trying to do by being picky about who we took. And the reason we chose Bernie, he sounded like a kind of a smart guy, had some experience, but also he said to us, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up with our investors. He was a CEO of a tech startup in Dallas at the time, and he said, I'm going to set you up with this VC firm that we work with, and we're going to get you $500,000, but they're going to take controlling stake of your company, but you're going to get $500,000. I thought, I haven't been working on this that long. That sounds like a pretty good deal. We're going to move to America. We're going to do this. I'm going to get actually to make my dream, and it's been pretty, become reasonably quickly. So what happened was we went ahead with that, and we flew back to the UK. I'm not actually sure what the next slide is. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, so we went back to the UK, and this is my desk, and me and Becky, we'd be working here, and we brought some of those pictures over and started refining the app and making it better. Thing, flipping amazing. We're about to get all this money. It's going to be awesome. So some of the Americans came over, and we did some due deal on LaunchCloud and about our financials and where we were going. But at this stage, I'd raised all this money on just clickable prototypes. Because I'm a designer, I'm not a developer. I knew I needed this money to get the expertise in that I needed. So we thought we were pretty cool. We'd raised this money so far on clickable prototypes. We'd use InVision. I don't know if anyone's designers in the room. It's a really great way of starting to visualize your idea, and we still use it to this day. And yeah, it was all going to go well. And like I said, they came over and they started looking into us. And then they said, look, they said, just before they went, they said, look, we're going to have a good Christmas, because it was like December time. They said, go and have a bit of a chill out, because next year is going to be full on. You're going to need a rest. So just take, but use Bernie's money, have a rest, and then we're talking January, February. So I went for a snowboard in January and ripped it up, obviously. And then I came back and I was kind of like, okay, so I want to get back into this now. I want to start talking to them. So I rang Adam. No answer. I rang Bernie. I was like, oh, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. And then Adam sent me a message saying, yeah, it's fine, Matt. Nothing's the matter. It's all going ahead fine. Don't worry. That was Adam's thing. American positivity, high fives and hugs. And so you get into that. It's pretty awesome. So, and then it was getting late January now. And I'm like, something's not right. So Adam said, look, we'll call you next week. So, oh crap. So he rang me and said, Matt, you're not getting the money. The investors said that they want to reinvest in other ventures that they've currently got, so other startups, including their company, and not reinvest not invest in new companies. So I don't want to underplay that. That was pretty horrific. There was a bit of crying, and because we'd just been for this amazing journey, and then it was boom. You're at the end of it now. What are you going to do? You're not going to get money. You're on your own. So I went to network like crazy, trying to work out what we're going to do. If we needed this money, do we join another accelerator? I was talking to the guys at Wayra at the time, and I didn't really feel good about just doing all that again. I felt like I was stepping back, but what do I do? And then one day, one of my clients, a really good friend, called me and said, oh, Matt, when are you going back to America? And I said, oh, Jamie, it's off, mate. They pulled out. And he's like, oh, that's pretty crap, because obviously that would be pretty awesome to go and have that adventure in America. But why don't I give you the money? Okay, well, I can't give you $500,000. But he said, but we could bootstrap this together. Now, this is one of my old clients I've been doing websites for and design for, and was pretty successful. And we worked together a lot. So he said, I could come on, help you with some of the technical stuff, and we'll build this together. What do you think? I was like, I won't take anything in the equity they want. I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, let's do that. So we met up and had some vodka and discussed it, and started forming the deals. And it took a few months, probably a bit longer than I'd like to have done, because Bernie's money is burning away. it's going, I'm going to have to start working again, which I did. I mean, I was working on Launch Cloud, but I had to start earning money again for myself. Me and Jamie put some agreements together, started doing that, and then back on it we went. Now, that was quite a long journey. Back then, because it was at the time it was just me designing it, and then we've got a guy called Mike who's our lead developer, so we both started working on it. And that was quite a long journey building that, but we've got a bit further along now. That's a screenshot I took, sorry, it's a picture I took the first day we actually had something coded, which was just a little logo and a bar. It's much better than that, trust me. Now it's better. And so that was cool to see that. But then inevitably, so we launched, we did like a trial launch end of last year. We've been using it with some friends, companies and stuff, and they were trying it out, help us debug it. But we went to launch kind of November last year, and because they say if you launch when you're ready, you've launched too late. So we thought, bugger it, let's just try it. Let's try and get a bit of customers in. So we got on LinkedIn and we started trying to find some customers. And we'd actually been getting some phone calls of people who'd seen our website and were like, when's this going to be ready? So that was kind of promising. So I thought, sorry, let's get it out there. We had an iPhone app at the time, because part of Launch Cloud is we can work offline with this iOS app. And we almost had our Android app ready. So I thought, yeah, let's do it. We got these customers and we started making them happy, and they were giving us some feedback, and we were making sure we were listening to that feedback, making changes. That's been one of our most important things. We were gaining feedback on Launch Cloud when I still had those clickable prototypes. So we always knew we were building the right thing for people. So we were totally up for feedback. That was brilliant. But then here come the dark times, we like to call it. It's the dark times because it's winter, it was bloody horrible, and we just did lots of midnight walks that were pretty depressed, because what happened is our app started to show the cracks where it wasn't quite right. The team that we were working with, we were outsourcing the iOS and Android development. They were like now a week over the deadline that I'd set them to complete the Android, and I hadn't seen an update because we'd had some trust from before. So then another week went by. Now clients are starting to notice that this app that was promised, because they needed it, because they just bought a load of Samsung Galaxy tabs, and then there was no app to work on it. I'm like, oh crap, because these are big marketing companies we're working with who have got like hundreds of agents in the field. So I thought, we're about to lose these customers because we pissed them off. Because we couldn't make these promises, and we've just come all this way, we've gone through all this journey, we've finally got something to sell, and now it's going to maybe we can pull it back together, I'm sure we can, but it's going to set us back months into the new year. This is just horrific. And it got worse and worse, where this team were continually letting us down. We had to have some pretty embarrassing conversations with the client, So we went into the office. They have these beautiful offices in Kensington, and I'm like having to explain ourselves to them. And I think, what we did is we took the tact of just complete honesty and said, look, we put some faith in our supplier. They've let us down. This is what we're doing to correct it, and this is how we're going to correct it, and this is when it'll be ready. And we were like, they're probably just going to say bugger off and just leave, or ask for a refund. And that would have been awful, because we'd already spent some of that money as a startup, on our guys. So we didn't want to have to refund that. And so we got some money back from the old team, and the client said, yeah, okay, we'll give you till mid-January. Let's work together on this. And we busted it out. We got a new team in place, and we worked over Christmas, and we developed an Android app and an iOS app in 4 weeks? We'd actually had a lot of learnings because we'd already pretty much built it before. I refreshed the design a bit, and we got it out, and we just hammered it. And we just didn't accept something that just wasn't up to par. We just constantly made it better and better. And we launched. And that was sort of January, like I said, mid-January, and that actually has gone well. Those clients that were pissed off of us never left, and they actually ended up spending more with us, and that was because of the transparency and honesty we were able to sort of put across. So that's a bit of a bad image because it's kind of a bit squashed, but we've now got some kind of cool clients through these marketing agencies. We've got Tesco's, Vans, Bosch, Nike, all using it to sort of collect and gather marketing data, and they're starting to trust us. And what's really cool is now those clients have said that we're almost going to sack us. We're now doing customer testimony videos with them, and that's allowing us to remarket to other people. So this is me fist bumping Rachel Branson, obviously, because we also kind of aligned ourselves with Virgin. We were a Virgin startup. Does anyone heard of Virgin startup? Yeah, so They're for like early stage funding a lot of the time. It's a way of getting money. We didn't actually need the money particularly, but I saw an opportunity there, and we took a small amount of money. But what I really wanted was the mentorship. Like, one of the unique things about the way Virgin do things is the mentorship program. And I was able to get a really great mentor that's been able to help us through these new times of actually trying to sell the product and refine it. And then I became a Virgin ambassador. So I did like a video for them, and I now write blogs and whatnot for Virgin Startup and Virgin, and we got to go to Richard Branson's house for lunch, and that was kind of I won't go into that, but that was a super elevated pitch. We're talking about elevated pitches. I'll tell you a little bit actually, because it's quite funny. Like, we didn't know what the flip was happening, and neither did he. Like, we just all arrived and we're like, oh, I was having some lunch, and then that fist bump turned into like a mini fist bump where he was eating a chip, and then he went, oh, okay, so let's get you some photos outside. We did some photos outside, and then he just went, right, I'm going around the lake, and he just bossed it off around the lake. I'm like, bloody hell. And I had to keep up with Richard Branson and be like, Richard, hi, I'm Matt, good to meet you. And just try and have my moment with him, because I didn't know if that was going to be my only moment. And it worked pretty well. And I went and thought, what's the best case scenario? We're going to go to Mecca together or whatever, I don't know. So yeah, but it was really good fun. It was a good laugh. So I'm going to answer some questions in a bit, but this is my sort of like closing point really. I found this months ago, and I saved it in my Evernote, but I think it's super appropriate. Becky told me not to try and pronounce this, because I'm not, but Kintsukutu or something, and it's the art of repairing with gold or silver. So taking broken pottery and repairing with gold. When we didn't raise the money, and then we got Jamie to invest in us instead, and when that app's completely catastrophically failed, but then we've now got better apps out of it, because if we'd kept on going down that route, it would have bit us in the bum later on. So the fact of just calling it and fixing it with gold, I think has given us a more beautiful and a more valuable product, and I think that's why I really like that little things. So that's me. I'm going to say thanks very much. I'm going to answer a few questions. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so Becky's going to read some questions that we got in through the survey, which I hope again are a nice reflection of what you guys are asking, and then maybe that gives you some more ideas for some more questions.
Thanks. What do you think is the next big thing?
The next big thing. So, I don't know, obviously that's it's a kind of big question, isn't it? So, but for us, what the next big thing is connective technology. So with LaunchCloud, we realised that it's important to integrate with as many systems as possible and help people's data go where they want it to go. And I think that's the big trend that I'm seeing in other technologies, is that connective ability. I don't know if you guys have heard of Zapier or If This Then That. That's the start of connecting with people's APIs. And most software as a service now has an API of some kind. And I think if you could integrate with other people's software and seamlessly work with that stuff, that for me is the next big wave of improvements.
What are your thoughts on outsourcing?
Okay, thoughts on outsourcing. So I've had good outsourcing experience and bad outsourcing experiences. It's been I actually like outsourcing. It's a really good way of finding out what kind of hires you're going to need to make, because you can just kind of get them part time, and I like it. I think there's things like Elance, Odesk to try and get some people. We hired our QA tester off Elance, and she's in India and she's awesome, and she just hammers away at it, and she's affordable for a startup. So I think it's a really great way to get started. Any more?
How about this one? What was a waste of money, if there has been any?
No, I don't know. I don't think it's been a waste of money. Like, I think people can waste money on expensive websites or stuff like that. But
I think we know people, don't we?
Oh yeah. So we know people who have wasted an exuberant amount of money. And I think if it's other people's money, sometimes there's a tendency to waste people's money. A friend of mine, it will remain nameless, has a company, and they've taken 12 million investment, and they still only turn over like 30,000 a month. And so, and they just kind of pay for lots of, they pay for Basecamp, and they pay for Zendesk, and they pay for all this software, and they pay for all these services, and keep hiring people. And I've seen a lot of money wasted that way. Yeah. There was. Sorry, go ahead.
We'll open up to a couple of questions from the audience, but because you haven't got mics, would you mind just repeating the questions so everyone else can hear? So, gentlemen in front.
Yeah, just was there any pointers when you hired your first software team?
Yeah.
Didn't deliver? Were
Yeah, I think there was now, looking back. Yeah, so what he asked was, when we first hired our first team that we worked with on the Android and iOS app, was there any warning signs? And I think the warning signs now, looking back, was the attention to detail, for me, was really important. The new guys that we've got have an awesome of attention to detail. So I'm not saying, budge that to the right a bit, budge that to the left, because that should be obvious that there needs to be padding from the side. So, but with these guys, we're missing those fundamentals. They were also kind of not too into using our workflows. In LaunchCloud now, we have some really key workflows in our strategy to help us project manage the build, and they weren't using our tools that we'd given them, like how to list a bug, how to clear a bug off, how to flag that you need more information. Where this team, we insisted upon it, and we kind of like almost treated them like a team member and said, right, this is how we work, you need to work with us on this thing. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the attention to detail, lack of.
Time for probably one more in the audience. Well, Matt's going to be here afterwards, yeah?
I'm here all night.
All night, great. A round of applause for Matt then.
Thank you.